Good evening. Welcome to Coffee and Tea with Aeson and with Sandie. How are you,
Hey
darling?
guys. Hi, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Well, we're getting ready for the Yule Ball that is tomorrow. Well, no, it's Saturday. I have a private party I'm doing tomorrow. It's the norm. Plus, we have the holiday rush. Gotta love those. Of course, if we look at December, you can't. There is like not one day that's not a holiday in December.
Exactly. December's just full of Christmas busyness and people
Right.
buying, preparing,
Hmm.
decorating the home. From Thanksgiving onwards, actually, it's quite crazy.
Right. And, I just wondered with you, back in Australia, was it as crazy?
No, well, yes,
Okay.
yes. However, in Australia, Christmas is warm weather,
Right.
so you
So
wouldn't
do
do
you,
any there'd be no baking.
no baking for Christmas? No wonder
Yeah,
you bake
because
up a storm.
well, in Australia, you couldn't bake on a hot day. It was like, forget it, because it was just too, it's the
Hmm.
height of summer. You don't want to be
Right.
baking, and so you rely, like, for example, Christmas dinner would be barbecue on the
Right.
beach. It wasn't the same. I mean, we would
Okay.
bake. There's no Thanksgiving in Australia, so we
Right.
don't thank anybody for anything over there.
Understandable.
And yeah, so it's not the same as American Christmas.
Okay. What do you miss the most?
Well, I don't miss anything about Christmas in Australia.
Oh,
I
well, I'm
do,
just,
yeah. I miss some of
yeah.
the food over there, some of the food you can't get here.
Right.
But I've since found out that you can't get that food anymore anyway. It's been a
Oh,
long
no.
time. It's been over 20
30
years.
years, right?
Yeah, exactly. So everything that was is not anymore. So what I miss is no longer available
Right.
anyway. So, so
I
like, for
don't know.
example,
Personally, I would love having a barbecue on the beach for Christmas. Like, I think maybe
yes,
I need to go to Australia
for one Christmas.
for one Christmas.
So you
Maybe
get out of your
five.
system. No, one will be enough. Trust me.
Uh, I don't know.
Like, for example, when you travel there, by the way, and you're a smoker,
Uh-huh.
so you need to know this. You can only bring one packet of cigarettes with you. One.
Uh-huh. You
And
can
when you
buy
get
them there.
there, and when you get there, a packet of cigarettes is $40 a packet.
Yeah, that's okay. Same as New York. It's expensive there
Yeah.
too.
New York, it's about $17 a packet, not $40.
Yeah, well, true.
Yeah.
But, you
It's
know,
a lot of
overall,
money. Yeah.
it is a lot of money. But, I don't know. It's like when I went to Canada, cigarettes was expensive up there too, but it was like, yeah, woohoo. But I'm in Canada.
How much do
You
cigarettes cost in
know,
Canada?
oh God. Granted, it was Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was like 16
I get
a
about the
pack.
same as New York. About the same as New
Yeah,
York. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
But
very
no, I could
expensive.
definitely see. We are very different because I could see myself, especially if I moved to a part of Australia that never got cold, like it was always warm. I could see myself getting very comfortable there.
That would be
Melbourne.
and that would be going up north
Mm-hmm.
to like Queensland,
Mm-hmm.
and then further up north to like Darwin
Yeah.
and maybe Western Australia. But down south, we have winter.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
No. See, I'm gonna stay out of that.
yeah,
Yeah, like if I would ever move from West Virginia, I would move to some place that does not have a winter. Like
Right.
I've had all four seasons. They're boring. Give me 80 degrees and sun 75% of the time, and yeah, it got me sold.
Yeah. Well, you'd like the northern Australia areas,
Yeah,
southern Australia,
yeah.
southern areas in Australia.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Snow. No, thank you. Like I am like we are not even through winter, and I am already done.
Yeah. I mean, when I say people change back to the baking situation, probably people do bake, and I have baked in summer, but it's not a pleasant
Mhm.
experience because in my time, we didn't have inbuilt air conditioning, and the
Mhm.
windows were not designed in a way where you could put a air conditioner in.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll kind of push out windows. It was kind of very difficult to get cool in Australia when
Right.
I was there. So I don't know if it's changed now, but in
Right.
my time there, it was very uncomfortable.
Right. Well, your time there, air conditioning here wasn't a big thing either.
Right,
Here it's like, okay, North Carolina, they had to pass a law saying you can't rent a place unless it has AC.
right.
You know, but
No such
no,
law exists in Australia.
huh?
No such law exists in Australia.
No, but Australia has good. It has health benefits. At
Yeah,
least
it
you
did
can.
have. When I was there, they were good, but apparently that's changed as well. A lot's changed. I don't know what's going on there. I have no clue. But
Right.
when I left there, they had good health benefits.
Right.
Um, but I don't know what's going on with that now.
Right.
Um, but the health, when I was there last, the health situation was good.
Good.
Um, the food was good. That's changed.
The
We used to have
water
a
was
lot of
good.
we used to have a lot of Marpa stores over there, Marpa stores
Mm-hmm.
like for fish and chips and stuff like that. And they would
Mm-hmm.
make the best fish and chips, and they would make the best burgers and stuff. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
all since gone now. It's all become commercialized, and now you've got these
Right.
franchise type takeout places that produce fish
Right.
and chips. But I guarantee you, they would not be the same as
Right.
what they were. There's no way. So
Right.
that's gone. Um,
Right.
what was once considered a really upmarket exclusive pizza place is now just some hole in some
Mm-hmm.
cheap, disgusting pizza place that no one wants to go to. So things have changed.
Right. And that happens. I mean, we
Yeah.
were having the other day. We had some issues, and I went to get a headlight for the car. I pulled into the parking lot of the parts shop that I've bought parts at since I could before I could drive. Walked up, and the building's closed and dark. It's no longer there.
Yep.
And I'm like, really? Like, guess the owner decided to retire and forgot to let anyone know.
Yeah. Or maybe he couldn't. Maybe he didn't retire. Maybe he passed.
True. I mean, unfortunately, in this time and era, we don't really know. It's not as well defined as it used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened. Sad. But things
Yeah.
change,
Things
sometimes for the
change.
better.
We get old enough to where we see it different.
Yeah.
And,
And sometimes
that
for the
happens with
worst.
networks too.
Yes.
Some of the opinions, like we are no longer independent contractors.
No. We,
We're now agency property.
we're agency. Well, I always felt like agency property from day one. I
I know
never
you
felt
did.
like I never felt like an independent contractor from day one because we have to adhere to a certain contract that we read and sign, and which makes us
Right.
answer to and be vulnerable to whatever they choose to do to us, unfortunately.
Right.
So we are independent contractors, but I think most independent contractors have to
No,
do
we're
that.
not.
That's
We are
different from
no.
freelancing is different. We're not
Yeah,
freelancers.
freelancing is different.
Yeah.
But no, we are not independent contractors. They are most networks are now considered agencies.
So we are agents of the agency.
Correct. Well, we're not anything. We're our own independent little businesses. It's
Yes.
our business to do as we please, as long as we
So
stick to their rules and follow their guidelines.
exactly.
Hmm.
That's how it's always been.
Right.
I, from day one, well, yeah, that's how it's always been.
Right.
So I'm used to
You
it.
know. Yeah. Things, but a lot of people get stuck in that. Oh, they're making us employees. Nope, they're not making you employees.
No,
Sorry. Try again later, Freddie.
we've always,
Uh,
to me, it's always been the same dynamic. It hasn't really changed.
hmm.
What's changed? Like we always. I don't really think about it. All I care about is my business is successful. That's all I care about. How
Right.
what they
And that takes
label
a
us
lot of
doesn't
work
really.
to do.
Yeah, it doesn't really concern. I haven't got time to think about what they label. I haven't really thought about it. You know,
Right.
they can label me anything as long as it's positive.
Well,
And
yeah.
all I care about is my business succeeding, and I do well, and I earn money, and I do what's supposed to be done of me, and I do my best to get to achieve that goal, and that's all there is to it. Until I um, looked beyond,
Right.
looked outside the box a bit, and spoke to some people that could help me. I thought I
Right.
was doing the right thing, but then I'm open. See, I'm open to new ideas and
Right.
new
It's
concepts,
like,
and I embrace that because I want my business to work. I need to be open, and I need to
yeah.
listen. I'm not know it all, and I don't even know, and I don't know everything, and other people have knowledge that I don't have. So it's important for me to be open and allow other knowledge to flow in and teach me and help me. And that's what I did.
Right.
So
But the other part of
yeah,
that, and this is the part that no one thinks about or no one talks about, is you got
right.
to change. You got
You
to
have
change. You
to.
got to change quickly. And a lot of, you know, like example, they presented video reading to advisors. I love it. I'm like, let's go.
Me too. I'm
Everyone
all
else
for
is
it.
like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm really confused by that because I love progress. I
Hmm.
embrace it. Like I said, I'm open to information, giving as much
Right.
information as possible, which means
Right.
I'm open to change. And I
Hmm.
love, like, I embrace the chat option.
Right.
I was one of the people that actually mentioned videos in the first place in the early days. I was saying we need video because with video you can get a way better reading on
Right.
people than
Right.
through the phone or through chat. You
Right.
know, you can see body language, you can see how people are responding to you.
Hmm.
All you have to do to make yourself presentable is be clean and neat. That's it. You
Right.
don't have to do a full makeup. You don't have to do anything unusual. Clean
Hmm.
t-shirt. Your hair can be up or down. Doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to be anything
Exactly. But you
crazy.
do have to be a real person, and that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because some of these people, I don't know, they act like that, either A, they aren't who their photo is,
That's
or
true.
B, they aren't, and I really think, recently Keen added video introductions. You done yours
Correct.
today, I done mine this week. You
Mhm.
really want to get them done before, the holiday, the attempt at the holiday roundup, because, corporate is out the door on time.
Correct.
Um, But it's like people are through a fit, and I'm like, we're supposed to be spiritual and like able to vibrate from one thing to the other.
No, I'm all for it. I can't
Right.
stand unless what you say is true that
Yeah.
some people aren't who they say they are. Because if they're
Hmm.
not who they say they are, then it would be a problem.
Right.
That's where the problem comes into play. But I am who I say I am, and so are you.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
we're not afraid of exposing ourselves, our
Exactly.
faces, etc. And I've
Yeah.
got nothing to hide. I'm me. I've always been me, and I use my real name. everything.
Yeah.
I don't even use a fake name. I did in the early days, but now I don't. And
Right.
because I'm not threatened by, I'm helping people. Why would I be threatened by why would it threaten me if my whole goal is
Right.
to help somebody? And I can help someone better if I can see them.
Right. Well, not only
That
that, but I
yeah.
think then it's like, oh, she's real. Oh, they're
Right.
real.
Yes. I mean, we can't be accused of being a robot, which I have been
Right.
accused of during chat. Are you a robot?
Yeah.
No, I'm a real human being, And I really don't see an issue with it. And I really don't understand
Right.
these advisors that do have an issue with it.
Right.
I don't get it at all.
Right.
So
And I don't get that. I don't think that, it is this complete combobulation that people need to get to. Um, I think that it's a lot of trying to figure out where you go, what you do, and how to do with it.
right. Well, I'm all for it, and I hope they introduce it. I look forward to it. I don't have an issue with it.
Like I would, I would, I'm waiting for the metaverse to take off so that I can sit in my lounge chair all day and just sit there and do readings all over the world and get to see all these people's houses.
I would love
And be like,
that.
oh God, I need to order that. Look at that statue, that
Exactly.
type of thing.
Yeah. Love it.
It's just, to me, like, you got to bring stuff forward.
Correct.
You got to update. You got to keep updated. You got to know your shit.
You need to be open to progress. That's how
Right.
life is. If people weren't open to progress, we wouldn't have big changes in medicine, wouldn't be where it is today, and other things wouldn't be where they are. We wouldn't have the internet. We wouldn't have anything that we have today if we weren't open to progress.
Well, we wouldn't have the internet today if it wasn't for the army messing up.
Right.
The internet was discovered by mistake. They were trying to invent a new way to communicate.
Right.
So there's that.
But we've embraced it and we love it and we need it now. We're all dependent on it now, basically.
Now we're dependent on it.
Right.
None of us are sitting in the attics with typewriters.
No.
Although I do wonder sometimes
if
people around the people that work the networks do have typewriters and they're hiding in their attics.
I'm pretty sure there's a few typewriters still around in the world.
I just wonder if people are really and truly just hiding around.
My whole thesis, my whole academic education, I was using a manual typewriter. There was no such thing as, I didn't even heard of, like, there was not even a thought that there could be any other way. And my my spell check was my whiteout and my dictionary.
Exactly, and you had to know.
My it was all whited out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my day. There was no such thing as anything,
Right. And really starting to figure out what, like, I came up in the era when we went from typewriter to word processor, from word processor to computer. And, looking back, I wouldn't trade it at all. I enjoy my world. I do miss Yahoo chat rooms.
You miss what? Sorry.
Yahoo chat rooms.
Yahoo
I cut my teeth. And I've tried to recreate some of the things there. We have like Facebook chat and that type of thing. But no, I used to run chat rooms all the time. And that used to be fun.
Well, I've gone through the whole internet, from the discovery to building the computer to figuring it all up, upload, download, this load, that load, installing, uninstalling, the chat rooms, the whole nine. And I went from manual typewriter through to word processor through to actually having a computer with Word in it and actually being able to type something that I could correct
Right.
The cell phone development situation was me getting a brick to begin with, a big cell phone. With
Oh,
all the
see, it
time.
was even before that. My first cell phone was actually its own little briefcase.
There you go. You had the briefcase with the satellite
Hmm.
phone. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had to face up to the sky for it to, you know,
Right.
and I never had one of those. The
Right.
car phones were around to begin with.
Hmm.
Remember car phones? They
I
were cool.
do.
They were so cool.
I
You're so
remember
excited,
I think
obviously.
I still have a CB.
Do you? We have CDs
Uh-huh.
somewhere in the house. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
And
CB.
tapes, and the tapes,
Oh, yes.
the cassette
This was the
tapes.
whole reason to have a number two pencil at all times in case you have to
Absolutely
rewind.
correct. Yes. Um, before all of that, when it was just a rotary phone, like just a regular rotary phone, I had to dial the number.
Hmm.
We had to remember all the phone numbers,
Yep.
or have a special book where we write all the phone numbers down in. And
Right.
if someone was their line was busy, that was it. Their
Right.
line was busy. You didn't know where anybody was. You couldn't
Hmm.
because if they weren't available, they weren't available. And you know, and the only way you would know where they were is if you rang them at the place that they were. If you called them at the
Right.
place that they were, you knew they were there. But
Right.
nowadays, when you do call someone, they could be anywhere.
And I think that's done a detriment to relationships.
It has. It has to a degree, yes.
Not have, now we have to tell people, leave them alone, let them get some space. Before it'd be like, yeah, they'll call you in a week, leave it,
Leave it.
step back. But, when you say, oh, they'll call you in a week, people have almost a freaking heart attack. Like, oh
I
my
know.
God, it's going to be a week until we talk. And I'm like,
Yeah,
your grandmother would go 6 months between letters.
well, there's snail mail. There's that too.
Yeah.
That's all gone. People don't write letters to each other anymore. We write emails, which is kind of similar to writing letters.
Yeah, but there's still an art to sending a letter.
Yes.
You know,
Good
and I
old
think
fashioned
that gets a little
handwritten letter.
difficult. A
Yeah.
handwritten letter, that would be so weird.
Yeah.
I think the man would get brownie points.
I'm not good at writing handwritten because I think too fast. I leave words
Mhm.
out. And oh God, I left that word out. But you know what they invented? Eraser pens you can
Yep, I
erase.
have them.
I have them too. I have many of them.
Yep,
Some doing
we
notes,
use them.
any handwritten notes or any. I
Mhm.
have them. My handwriting is terrible. I've got terrible
Right.
handwriting, and
Well,
we can do
mine's
cursive.
improving.
We can do cursive. Can you do
Yeah, we
cursive?
can write in a foreign language.
Which I saw a fake TikTok about that.
Yeah,
We can
like,
plan a war and just write it all out in cursive. No one will be able to read it except us.
well, can you do calligraphy?
Well, when you do cursive, it's kind of like calligraphy.
It is like calligraphy, but I
You can kind
remember
of wave
doing
it all out a bit
calligraphy
more, make it
classes.
more fancy. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the S, make it more fancy, and
Mm-hmm.
you can do that, but no one would know what you're writing, so there's no point even trying anymore. I just print things like I'm in grade 1.
Mm-hmm.
Sad. the,
Well, it isn't,
the elementary school printing.
otherwise nobody can read it anymore.
That's how I do it. If I write anything handwritten, it's always that elementary writing,
Right.
and it always looks terrible.
Yeah, I think it takes a habit. You know, I thought it was interesting when you had a lettering planner to teach you how to write, your letters. That was a little bit. That was a moment.
There are a lot of things that kids don't know these days that we know.
I know, and it's kind of scary.
It is scary.
Yeah,
But it makes us stronger in a way.
it does, and I think that it's more handier.
Correct. Correct.
To be able to handle things and how sit down and actually be able to do things.
Correct. Yeah. When I used to walk home from school, I used to walk home from school from a very young age. Didn't matter if there were predators.
Right.
Right. I just,
Right.
in order to get an after school snack, we used to have these plum trees on the way home from school, rows of plum
Uh-huh.
trees. And we would
Right.
literally climb up into the tree and pick these plums. Didn't matter how
Right.
dangerous it was. No one told us it was dangerous. We just would do it. No
Mm-hmm.
one said, don't do that. No one. And we'd pick them, and there was that sour, sweet, tart flavor, and we just wouldn't wash them,
Right.
just eat them. There was an apple orchard back of my house, and we'd go in there and
Right.
apples, and like there were tomato bushes, and we picked fresh tomatoes off these bushes, and they were our snacks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's absolutely the flavors were incredible. You can't get that flavor again of that
No.
kind of that real organic flavor. That is impossible to achieve. You can't get that. I can never taste that again.
No.
I'll never taste that again. And that was our after school snack. And no one ever said that was dangerous or don't do that, or
Right.
it was, we were wandering the streets and running around and outside and didn't even think about it.
Right.
No one even thought about it. It was just.
But you bring up a very good point there, especially during this holiday season. Yes, we're going to get down and dopey for a moment. If there is something that you enjoy a family member making, take this time this year to go and learn it. And I'm not talking about learning it, I mean learn it. Sit down with them, go through it, make it with them, because their recipe may say a third of a cup of butter. They might do a little bit more than a third of a cup of butter. They might do, they've learned it so much that they do, almost a whole half cup of butter in it. But take that time to learn those recipes.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because when it's still, well, not this season, but one time we got down and did cookies together. We actually baked them together and actually iced them together.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that again with me the last Christmas. And he sat there and he iced a bunch of cookies with me. I took pictures and everything. And we actually did that. We actually got together and did a project together, and that was cookie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows it's an important thing for me to do, and he likes it, and he enjoys the cookies, and he enjoys it when we hand them out to his friends and stuff. And so, yeah, we actually did that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Share a project with someone, a Christmas tradition project with somebody.
Right. Because being morbid, you'll never get grandma's rolls again after she stops making them.
Correct.
You'll never, there's, you can go through 100 bread recipes. I will never get that light bread flavor.
Right. Because we make what grandmas do, what we do, us grandmas. They've been cooking for a long time, baking for a long time. We always cook. I do. I can't really speak for all grandmas. When I do my example gingerbread recipe, and the word ginger comes into mind, and my cookies have to taste like ginger. Right? And the original gingerbread book that you can find on the internet has it's a minimal amount of ginger in it. Like, I go overboard on my ginger, but I never measure it. So it's going to be really difficult to impart how much ginger I put in. You have to actually watch me do it. I put way more in than the basic recipe requires. I add a little extra sugar. I do things from
a little different,
a little different from my intuitive how I want to, and it's always a success.
Right.
Luckily. Instead of my sugar cookies, I put things in. I kind of modify it as I'm doing it. And I know it has to be a certain consistency, but and you have to understand the science of baking as well, in terms of consistency and what you need to do.
And what it feels like, and what it looks like, and what it smells like. It's like I always set like 3 timers for stuff. My grandmother just knew. Like,
I set timers for cookies. Yeah.
Yeah. My grandmother never set a timer for a cookie.
Yeah, I have to because I get so distracted by what's other things I need to do. I
Right.
need to know that I'm not going to burn those cookies because I'm on a
Right.
schedule. So I need to
Right.
know that when my Alexa goes off and says the timer, I need to have that. Yeah.
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 But but it's like, some of the recipes say a hot oven.
Well, most of them would be preheat. You have to always preheat the oven no matter what you do,
Right.
really. Otherwise, because when it's cold, it doesn't do anything. And
Right. But
yeah,
most
yeah,
ovens, most recipes will tell, modern recipes will tell you a specific temperature.
yes.
Okay. I've got recipes that say a hot oven, a cold morning oven, and it's like,
Nothing's gonna cook in a cold oven to begin with. Before I had timers and before my oven would tell me that it's heated up, what I would preheat, what I would do, I would turn the oven on
mhm,
before I started prepping the food, the bake, the whatever. So
right,
by the time I put that stuff, I could put it to a certain temperature, but for it to
right,
heat up to that temperature would take time, and I knew it would. So I would
right,
um, do everything else first, like put
hmm,
the oven on first and do everything that needs to be done that has to go into
yeah.
that oven. And so by the
Well,
time I
see,
put everything into that oven is heated.
yeah.
And
Well,
that's
see,
it.
my grandmother, probably didn't have a normal oven to the late 60s. She would have a
Right.
coal oven, so, her temperature was stick her hand in there.
Yeah. So if you have an oven like that, just have to wait for it to get hot. And
Yeah,
the more coal you put in, the hotter it gets.
right. You
And
know,
you'd leave it in there for a certain period of time. You have to keep an eye on it. And if
hmm,
you do any slow roasting thing, we just leave it on. You would leave it on a low heat, so you wouldn't put as much coal in there. So
exactly.
it
Yeah.
would cook all day. You'd be checking it
Hmm.
consistently. But now we have someone, this little man inside our oven who does the coal thing for us.
Yeah, but e- example, her biscuits, I can never get my biscuits as flaky as hers, and it's because she had fresh butter.
The recipe, it's patience because you've got to roll and fold that dough with butter in it,
Uh-huh.
right, to make
And
it
it's got to be
flaky.
cold milk, and it's got to have, and their milk had more
Frozen
fat
butter,
than our milk had because
yeah,
hers came straight from a cow, no
correct.
pasteurization needed.
And it had to be frozen butter, which would be difficult for her to get because she would have like an ice box, not a
Hmm.
fridge. So she would have to have that frozen butter straight out and cold
Right.
milk straight out and the dough made. And then she would put the butter in between, like she'd make layers of dough and butter and she'd
Hmm.
roll it out. And then she'd
Yep.
put it back in the freezer into the ice box again and let that get cold. And
Right.
then roll it out again and do a biscuit shape from the glass, not a cookie cutter. She'd get a glass
Honey,
and
not a cookie cutter, not a glass, a tin can.
a tin
Can of
can.
evaporated milk.
Yeah, and she'd get that, and she'd do that, and she'd put them in the oven, and she'd make sure there's the right
Hmm.
amount of coal in there, and she would wait till they're golden brown and bring them out, and they would be delicious. But you know what else made them delicious? Because she used real milk and real butter, and that makes
Yes,
a huge difference, and you can't get that anymore.
we can hear. There's a they come in glass bottles, and
Really?
yeah, it's more expensive. Why it's more expensive, I don't know, but it's the organic, unpasteurized milk, and you have to shake it
Okay.
up. Yeah,
Really?
yes, Hudson
Wow. I
Hudson
love
Stable
that.
or something.
That is the best milk because I don't know. I'm 70 years old, and when I was a kid, my dad would take us to this farm.
Hmm.
And on this farm, it was there were cows and stuff, and there was a swimming pool, and spend the day there swimming, and we'd spend the night there and have breakfast. And
Right,
they would milk the cow
right.
in the morning and then boil the milk,
Hmm.
just boil it, and then put it in jugs and then serve it to us. And
Hmm.
they would churn their own butter. And I'm telling you right now, I will never have the taste of that milk ever again. It was amazing. Nor will I ever taste that butter ever again. It was amazing. If I used those two ingredients to bake with, you would never taste. You would taste a biscuit that was from heaven, because they were like these flavors, these real flavors, like the fruit from the trees, directly that by accident grew organically, because there was no one looking after that old apple orchard in the back of my house. There was no one really looking after those trees that were those plum trees that were growing wild. So everything tasted a la natural, and so there was no organic. Whatever the process they do to organic fruit today still doesn't taste as good as it did then, because the real meaning of that real organic fruit is something that's grown completely wild and natural with nothing.
Just and I disagree. I think that they still do things to it.
Of course, they still do things to it. It's not nowhere near as good, but of course they do. Everything's been genetically modified. Everything. Nothing tastes like it used to. Nothing tastes like it used to. And I don't know why they do that. I have no idea why they did all of that, because it ruined everything. Nothing tastes as good as it used to.
Right.
You know, it's sad. It's kind of sad.
You know, and it's different. Like, people don't take care of things like they used to.
No. We were looking at an old video of a 1950s kitchen, and ironically, it was more ergonomically designed than our kitchens of today.
Right.
Yeah, but that was the ironic thing about it. It was like everything was right in the right place where it should be, so it made it easier to cook. And today, it's nowhere near as ergonomically designed.
Right.
Yeah. So,
you know,
what can you do?
Well, I think what we do in general is we record what we know. Take time to get to know what we know, because eventually, I think food will get back to the way it was.
I don't know how.
Well, it starts out with people, growing their own gardens, and we saw a large return of that.
Right.
Canning took off a really robust over the past 5 years of people putting up their own food. Of people getting tired of recalls, which, by the way, if you drink Sprite, Festa, and there's another one that's on recall, you might want to be checking it for foreign objects.
No, I don't drink any of that, so I drink water.
Yeah, water's good.
Occasionally a Coke.
Right.
But not any of those stuff.
Right.
I'm not a big soda. No soda. I became very Coca-Cola addicted.
Right.
At one point, but I put a lot of weight on, so I had to lose that weight. So I had to cut out Coke.
Right.
And so I did. I lost a lot of weight doing that.
Right.
But I still need my Coca-Cola fix.
Right.
Say Coca-Cola fix.
Right.
Every now and then, like if I, today I had a soda. I had a Coca-Cola today.
Right.
And so every now and then I need it, but I mostly just drink water.
Right.
And when I was younger, I used to drink water straight from the faucet.
Oh God, you can't do that. You'll die of chemical burns here.
Yeah, I used to just let the water run, and I would just drink it straight from the faucet.
Right.
And nowadays, no, you can't do that today.
Right.
So what are you going to, everything's changed. I have my bottle of water, my handy bottle of water next to me all the time. Right. And it's right there, and I drink a lot of it.
Right.
I love water, though. I don't know why. I be addicted to it since I was a kid. A lot of water. So, yeah, drink a lot of water.
I drink a lot of espresso.
Like, you like espresso?
Yes, I hit a Walmart deal. Y'all guys knew there had to be a sale involved. We got an espresso machine for $30, and I've been
that's cheap.
addicted.
I got a the thing is that coffee's changed its flavor.
Right.
Like we got an espresso machine a few months ago, and I put the one pod that I thought was natural in the like regular espresso coffee, and it tasted very fruity. Didn't have that roast coffee flavor anymore.
Right.
Like fruity note to it. No, this is no good. I don't like fruity flavors. And and I've noticed when I try different brand, I drink just Folgers coffee. And when I tried some newer brands, they have that like this fruity note to it. They don't have that roasted coffee flavor anymore.
Right.
And that's kind of turned me off coffee.
Right.
Other than Folgers, I have my coffee every morning. But I love
Right.
espresso. But if the coffee company's got this new fruity thing going, I don't get why there's a fruity note. I don't understand why they did that.
I think that, well, one, it depends on the brand of coffee. And sometimes coffee, like there are some coffees that I can't stand because they've got that nut flavor to them.
Right,
And it's
nutty
like,
or fruity. It's
it's like,
it's not like it's that roasted coffee flavor that you're looking for, that real coffee. Like this is coffee beans roasted and whatever, and that's it.
Right.
No additives, no fruit notes or no nutty notes or no nothing note. Just regular roasted coffee beans that you drink without any additives.
Right.
That's it. I can't get that anymore except for Folgers coffee. Folgers coffee, as it comes down to it, ironically, is the only one that still does regular, normal coffee. Where you had that normal, regular coffee flavor without anything added. That's it.
Right.
That's what I want.
Well, it's like I like Folgers Black Silk. Like that's my coffee when I'm drinking coffee.
I have Folgers regular, and I get the pods because I have what are they called? Yes. I make one every morning. It has to be black with sugar, lots of sugar.
Right.
That's it. No milk.
Right.
And I drink, that's my coffee drink. And I have that every morning without fail. It's necessary. I cannot do anything before I have my coffee. I can't speak before I have my coffee.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. I need that.
Right.
And I have to find espresso that actually has that real coffee flavor, and I've got to look for that as well. You know what comes close to it, actually? Good old-fashioned Turkish coffee.
Right.
That you make in a little pot, and you make that. That comes close to that real coffee flavor.
Right.
And it's close to espresso. It's very similar to espresso.
Right.
So might get that again. Try that.
You know, and you got to take yourself there. Ooh. Brenda wants coffee flavored like coffee. Exactly. You know, I'm kind of like right now I'm stuck on Dunkenheim's espresso or 8 o'clock espresso or black silk. I don't I like adding chocolate syrup to my coffee. I like adding different flavorings to my coffee, but I want to be in control of those flavorings.
Sure, exactly. I don't add anything.
Right.
But if I was going to, it would probably be like a vanilla.
Right.
Oh, I was like, what happened there? I blacked out for a second. So that would be about it. I don't know. I just like my coffee to be coffee. I don't, when I go to Starbucks, I just order coffee, the blonde coffee, straight up, nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So that's got my coffee.
Right.
So let's talk about Christmas traditions.
Yeah. What are some of yours?
Well, it's the making cookies for my friends, number one, and decorating them is the making a cookie taste really good, and then decorating it really beautifully. And I do. I don't know if I do it really beautifully, but I do it as best I can. Right. And the well, one of the big traditions that we have, my grandson Bash has to
Right.
recite the night before Christmas on Christmas Eve. He's been doing that
Mm-hmm.
every year since he was little. So I've got all
Right.
these videos of him doing it since he was little to now. Well, this will
Mm-hmm.
be now, this time. The other ones are just pretty much we watch certain movies on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being the whole Express. What's it called? Um, Polar Express.
Mm-hmm.
That's a must watch. That's in 17. He's almost going to be 18 early next year, but he's still going to do it with me.
Right.
And so basically, that's it. These are the traditions. Oh, and one big one is we have to go to the Christmas tree lot and buy the Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big ones. And
Yeah.
they always open up just after Thanksgiving. And we
Mm-hmm.
march on over there. We have one that's very close by, and we choose our tree and we buy it, fresh
Mm-hmm.
tree, and bring it home and decorate it.
Ah.
It's a big one.
Yeah, we aren't. We got a new fake tree. Um, I got in the mood this year. Like, we have trees upstairs. We have ornaments from years gone by. We have enough Christmas stuff to decorate this house and probably three others. But I got in the mood and I'm like, I don't want someone else's Christmas. I don't want to drag out the memory box. I want new. So I went and bought new tree, new ornaments, new decorations.
Yeah.
Um, just because I'm like, no, I want new. I want to totally reformat this, you know, this year because it just felt right to me
I
that it was
understand
time
that.
for new.
I got some new keepsake ornaments for this year. When I was in Oklahoma, my
Mm-hmm.
friends took me to a store that imports their Christmas ornaments, and
Uh
some of them are
huh.
handmade. And I bought a bunch of those. And
Mm-hmm.
ironically, I bought enough that my whole tree got decorated with them, including some of
Oh,
our regular
cool.
keepsakes as well, that I'll always use.
Mm-hmm.
There are ours. Like I got one that Bastion made when he was little. That always goes up there,
Right.
and stuff like that. But yeah, so they're new along with the
Mm-hmm.
old. So kind of half did what you did, create some newness
Right.
to the But those other traditions, I imagine,
Mm-hmm.
because Bastion loves Christmas, so I'd imagine when I go, he'll
Mm-hmm.
try to preserve some of those traditions
Right.
if he can.
Well, agreed, but I don't know. This year, I think I'm going to start some new ones. I think I'm going to do
Yeah,
hot chocolate and cards Christmas Eve.
right.
Um, because we haven't done that for years, and it's like,
Like
yeah, that was
chocolate
kind of fun.
cards. What do you mean?
Hot chocolate and cards.
What do you do with the cards? Oh, tarot cards.
No, poker cards. We're going to play poker.
Oh, poker cards.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We're going on Christmas Eve. What we always do, not new.
Mm-hmm.
I buy a bunch of like gourmet snacks and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like finger food, certain
Uh-huh.
snacks, and we watch the movies and we eat the snacks, and we have
Right.
apple cider. Apple cider,
Interesting.
yeah,
Do
that's
we
what we do.
remember to put a little bit of apple whiskey with the apple cider?
Well, Bastion doesn't like whiskey, but I do.
All right.
No, we don't put any whiskey in it. I don't even do eggnog. I did eggnog a few times, but no one's
Uh-huh.
really into it except me. So I stopped doing eggnog.
Well,
No one
that's when you
really,
buy the smaller bottle.
yeah. Well, I used to make it from scratch.
Yeah.
And a friend of
Right.
mine, this is funny, and thank God I didn't give it to Bastion. A friend of mine bought me a bottle of eggnog one time. I didn't
Right.
realize it was alcohol.
Right.
I didn't know. I just thought it was a fancy bottle for the eggnog.
Uh-huh.
And I poured some in a glass and
Right.
asked Bastion if he wanted some. He goes, yeah, sure, I'll try it. But luckily, I took a sip first, and it really
Right.
knocked me out because it was completely full of whiskey. And I read the bottle. I thought, oh no, I can't give this to Bastion. I give it
Why
to him.
not?
But he was too little. He can't drink alcohol. He was too little. Now maybe he could try, but then no. You know.
See, okay, let's talk about this.
Let's
How
see.
old was Sebastian when he got his first alcohol?
First of all, it's Bastion, not Sir Bastion. He hasn't been knighted. It's just Bastion.
Yeah.
Bastion had a sip of wine for the first time. It was recently, and I don't remember where were we. I think we just at home, and I had a friend come over. I opened a bowl of red,
Uh-huh.
Sauvignon, and I said, "Bastion, try this."
Mm-hmm.
And he tried it, and he thought it was okay, and that was it. He's not really, yeah, he's not curious about alcohol.
See, I wasn't either, but I was also brought up with it.
Yeah, he wasn't brought up with it really because I don't really drink a lot.
Right, but like
I drink,
if you know, your baby cutting teeth, you put brandy on their gums.
well, not when he was a baby. When I was a baby, my mum, she actually did. My dad made me scald a glass of brandy when I was a little kid because I had an abscess on one of my teeth. When I was about 7. I actually scalded. Like he made me drink the whole thing. It tasted like poison, and I nearly threw up. It was disgusting. Now I can smell it quite happily.
Exactly.
but nowadays, if I would have given Bastion the brand on his gum, we probably would have had Bastion taken away from us.
I know,
But
but I also wonder if that's why alcohol is such a thing now. Is because we had wine on holidays as children with dinner. We had, we knew what beer tasted like from whenever.
my dad, oh no, my dad owned the wine licensed grocery stores. We had a lot of alcohol in the house, and we would not have wine with dinner. But my dad would scull a vodka every night, without doubt. But one time we were having like a barbecue, and my dad was drinking beer, and to me, it was little like this honey nectar thing that was really yummy and sweet, right? I didn't know what it tasted like. So I went up to my dad and I said, "Can I taste it?" He goes, "Sure."
Yeah.
And he gave it to me and I tasted it and I was like, "Bah."
Yeah.
Who drinks that? Right.
Right. Well, I recently found one that I can actually tolerate. But no, like looking at the kids nowadays and the young adults nowadays, alcohol and drinking is this big bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, ooh. And it's like, for me, it was like, what was it, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Like it was no big deal because
exactly. Bastion doesn't think it's a big deal. He doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah. But beer, until this day, I've never really been able to drink beer because of that. I can drink whiskey though. It's funny that I just never like the flavor of. I don't understand beer. I haven't acquired a taste for it at all.
Well, you got 3 problems from my perspective for you, darling. Problem 1, you're dealing with American beer.
Well, Australian beer, that was Australian beer. It was horrifying.
Right. American beer is worse.
I've tried Heineken. Heineken, and Heineken's not bad.
Right.
I've tried some of the. We have a place called Bronx Ale House, which is like a block from here, and I've gone in there and we've sat down. We had those beer samplers, and I've tried all of them, and they were like tolerable. I could down them, but they're not my choice of drink. Put it that way.
Exactly.
So my choice of drink, if I'm going on my birthday, I always have a margarita. That's important. And I went through different phases growing up. So I went through my cool, I'm a hippie phase, and I would drink vodka and lime. Vodka and lime syrup, not lime, squeezable lime syrup. Right. And I would scold that because I thought I was so cool, right? And then I went for my next cool phase when I was at college and university, and I would be Scotch with a dash of Coke. And that was my drink. and then that evolved to margaritas.
Okay. Um, let's see. It depends on my mood. It used to depend on my mood. Because I would start out, if I'm in a good mood, I'd start out with mixed drinks or beer. Um, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm drinking whiskey and Coke, Black Velvet and Coke, that type of thing. If I'm in a really, really bad mood, it's straight vodka.
Well, what I used to do also
Mm-hmm.
in New York, it was freezing. I'd be out. I was younger. I was out more.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cold. I would just stop if I was shopping or something. It was freezing. I would stop into one of the local bars. We had
Right.
tons of bars around here. They're all gone now.
Right.
And I would pop in and I was get a shot of whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It would warm me up. Just to warm me up, I would skull it
Right.
and say thank you, give the guy $5, whatever I had to give him, and walk out, continue shopping.
Right.
Those days are gone now.
Right.
There's not even those bars are not even in existence anymore. I could go in and do that.
Right.
And you can't just go in a bar and get a shot of whiskey. And things have changed so much.
Right.
So now if I go shopping, I just go do the shopping, come home, don't even think about getting a shot of whiskey or anything. There's nowhere to get a shot of whiskey from.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't need it when you're home because you're back in the warm again. But a shot of whiskey would warm you up.
Shot of whiskey and a good Coke will solve a lot of issues.
Yes. Well, I would just prefer to have a straight up shot of whiskey, no Coke, no ice, no nothing.
No, I'm not there. Like if I'm there, then you're in trouble. Like there are some major, like there will be Aeson off the chain occurring, and it won't be pretty.
No, well, one little shot of whiskey's not going to throw you off.
No, honey, because it is never just one shot for Aeson. Okay. I've had to explain this to a few people. Aeson doesn't do just a shot of whiskey. Like Aeson does like
when you're shopping,
15 shots of whiskey.
When you're shopping, all you have time for is that one shot. And you know.
Honey, haven't you ever learned of what a flask is for?
I have a flask actually.
Yeah.
But if I had a flask, then it wouldn't be one shot of whiskey. Then it'd be like, because going shopping nowadays and what you see out there, the people you come across, I'd be drinking it all the way through. By the time I got to the checkout, I'm going to stand up.
Right.
I'd be buying strange things.
Right. All right, guys. Well, you can come out and party with Aeson. I will be at the Vice Versa on Saturday. The market is from 3 to 7. And then after that, give us about an hour and a half to get everything packed up and out of the way. And the party begins at 9. And we'll be having some real nice entertainment. And
where is this?
Vice Versa in Morgantown, West Virginia.
So I won't be there.
No. You're welcome to come down, catch the train, and visit.
Wish I had the time. I really wish I had the time.
I know. I can't wait till we get the time to come up to see you. It's going to be fun. Yes. So if, after the market is over, Aeson is off duty.
And they'll be sculling.
And bear hugs will be provided, but there will be no reading unless I've got the library open. And if you want me to read you the film, I'll gladly do so.
So will you be doing lots of sculling of whiskey or vodka or?
I will probably be drinking mostly mixed drinks most of the night. I will see what they have because the last time I wanted Mr. Fluffy, they didn't know what that was. I'm going to see if they know what liquid cocaine is. Because there's, like my old bar drinks are no longer there.
Oh, no.
It happens, because I had Jimmy for years. Like Jimmy used to know when I walked through the door what I wanted, how I wanted it, and would just have it sitting on the bar waiting on me.
Yeah, and now the new bartender
now retired.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I know. But Papa Bear's doing a buffet, so we can just eat there. It'll be a great time.
Sounds good.
Yes. All
Sounds very
right.
good.
So let's go ahead and give a shout out to our baristas for supporting our shows: Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about the show or become a supporter, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
See you later, folks.
See you later, guys. Bye, y'all.